What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Alton Podcast, episode number 23. My name is Colton, one of the co-founders of Alton Innovations, and I am co-hosting with my boy, Austin. How you doing today, brother?
I am doing fantastic, man. Today it was a nice, soothing 70, a little on the lower end.
Jealous.
And it reminded me of fall back home. The breeze, the sun, just everything minus the palm trees.
Got it. Man.
It's great.
Speaking of trees, we're a weed channel now.
And by that, Colton means that we are back-to-back recording episodes about marijuana. And, it just so happens to be 420. What are the odds?
How about that? So Austin brought something to my attention, the latest development on weed in the United States, specifically in Illinois. So, Austin, lay it on us. What'd you find out?
So, there's a lot of, January 1st is sparking the big movement. They're finally going to get recreational marijuana for the state. And I know the state's been pushing it forever now, or at least the citizens have. Like our last video said, 65% of the population is for recreational use of marijuana. So with that in mind, they're going to do it. But Illinois has certainly upped their game, especially in their tax game.
Oh, yes.
It's bad.
Oh, yes. And one other thing specifically that I wasn't aware of is that these laws are going into effect January 1st, 2020. So these are already set in stone laws, taxes, age requirements, the weight of the marijuana, everything. And like I said, I didn't know this was already in effect until today. So if you live in Illinois, listen up, because we got everything you need. We got your weed legalization guide to January 1st, 2020.
And we're going to spell it all out for you guys, nice and simple. First thing, big thing, Colton and I touched upon this the last video toward the end.
Yep.
The age requirement is 21.
Drum roll, 21 and over to purchase marijuana legally in Illinois starting January 1st, 2020.
And that's, I don't know, what do you guys think about that? I don't really have an opinion. I see the pros and the cons. They're trying to keep it out of schools.
Yeah.
Is my assumption.
You just said, it's, it was either going to be 18 or 21 most likely, and we didn't really have a hard opinion on either age. Personally, I was leaning more towards 21, or I thought it was going to be more 21, just because of the whole, we were talking about the mental behavior changes that are kind of similar to, I guess, alcohol, and alcohol is 21. So that's why I was leaning a little bit more towards the 21 side, but, we really don't know until it happens. But, yeah, 21 and over for Illinois.
Yeah, and that's going to be, a give and take. I think that's not as big of a hit as the tax part, which we're going to get to here very soon. One interesting thing that I read going through these articles, and by the way, these articles are on ABC7. It's pretty much the best source we were able to find, I think.
Yeah.
With marijuana topics, you really get a lot of strange, really bizarre sources.
Right.
And they're just not reliable. ABC7, I don't like to use news channels if I can help it. But it's the best I can do, and at least they're in Chicago, so glass half full.
Right. It's pretty relevant. and if you guys were curious, this article was written today, the day we are recording this podcast, so it's very, very up-to-date information.
Yes. And did you know how much security they had on the medical marijuana dispensaries?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
No.
No,
Please do
apparently they had, the article makes it seem like they had quite a bit.
Okay.
And they said that they're going to take multiple layers of security off when recreational comes out. I guess they had multiple security levels just to get to the part where you can purchase in the dispensaries the marijuana itself. So they had, it was very interesting to read that. I didn't think they went that in depth.
Yeah. I mean, you just said that recreational hasn't come out yet, right?
Not until January 1st, but they're
Right.
going to tone down the security when that happens.
Right. So maybe it was heavily secured because it was only medical, and they didn't want people, swooping in and out trying to get some.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably what I'm thinking too, but I'm just thinking like a dispensary is a small building. At least in my head, I'm picturing a small building.
Yeah, I'm picturing Plaza.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm picturing something tiny.
Mm-hmm.
And just to think that there's multiple layers of security within a small building
Yeah.
blows my mind.
Yeah. Especially for maybe something, I guess, not as lethal as, let's just say, like a gun store. So I can see where you're coming from.
Or alcohol. Let's
True.
face it.
This is very
Alcohol
true.
is going to do more harm quicker than marijuana.
I can agree with that.
Like, it's going to get you completely blackout drunk if you just chug a fifth.
True.
Which, guys, I don't recommend doing that. It's not a good idea.
Are you talking from experience?
I will not answer.
Oh, man.
Whatever you do when you're blackout drunk like that, you don't know. You're
Right.
just gone. And that's terrifying.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Terrifying. So, at least with marijuana, and again, I never smoked it.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been high before. So I can't relate to that. But I cannot imagine it being quite as bad as being drunk.
True.
Because I have been that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure we've both had our fair take with a few drinks.
A few, yeah. Just a couple.
Once I get to a certain point, I make myself stop because I don't want to get sick.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I refuse to throw up, and any chance I can, have the most fun, but, also have that crutch to still be able to know when to personally stop that's usually what I go up to.
Yeah. And back on weed. Back on the weed train.
Yes.
Taxes.
Taxes.
So let's start with the fun.
Go ahead.
Cigarette taxes in Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think they are? Just modestly.
In Illinois, I used to live in Illinois, so, I'm cheating.
You live there.
But I've never bought a pack of cigarettes, so I honestly have no idea.
Good thing.
I'm gonna guess it's 10% like anything else.
10%. That's a solid guess. Actually, I don't know the percentage.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose I probably could pencil that in real fast. But the average cost per pack is $7.56 in Illinois, according to the salestaxhandbook.com, which is all about tobacco taxes.
Oh, were you asking me how much a pack of cigarettes is?
No, how much tax you think there is?
Oh.
You answered correctly.
Oh, lit. Okay, cool. All right.
And of that $7.56, $1.98 is just the taxes.
Oh. Wow.
So
that's over 10%.
Yeah, it's over 10%. Let me just grab my little Samsung device.
Yeah.
Because Samsung's all the way.
Hashtag
Sorry.
not a sponsor. Hashtag should be. Hashtag Alton Podcast at gmail.com.
Hit us up, please. and send me that Note 11.
No. Ooh.
Yeah.
Austin.
Yeah.
Man. While you're at it, send me that S10 I'm buying literally tomorrow.
Oh, you buying it tomorrow, dude?
I am.
Hell yeah. Okay.
Very excited.
Okay. Samsung has prevailed yet again. Simple calculator app, I know. But roughly about 26% in taxes for cigarettes.
So that's actually over double what I just guessed.
It is.
Interesting. What
It
about
is.
alcohol?
Alcohol is 6.25.
Oh, that's it?
That it's a general sales tax. It's alcohol. Now vendors have to pay a special $8.55 per gallon plus the federal taxes
Yeah.
for all liquor sold.
Okay.
But as a general consumer, they're not going to charge us for the gallon of liquor we buy, which I can't even imagine buying a gallon of liquor at one time.
You must not know a good time, Austin.
I mean, I can't say that I have personally went to a liquor store and just said, okay, I'm going to buy a gallon of liquor today.
I mean, you've never bought, like, a giant bottle of liquor for yourself to drink over so many months?
I mean, I get myself fifths.
I mean, that's about, a gallon's about 2 or 3 of those.
Yeah, I get one.
Yeah, I mean, okay. Anyways, next topic. So you said, what, 6% for the alcohol, yeah?
6.25.
Okay, so now that we got those out of the way, hit them with the THC tax, Austin.
Okay. So the important thing for you guys to know, if you're going to go buy recreational marijuana, the biggest thing is they are taxing special for the quantity of THC within the product.
Yes.
That's the biggest thing. If you want less than 35% THC, it's really a modest 10% of purchase price.
Yeah, which is about average in most cases.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Going off the Illinois sales tax to begin with, 6.25%, that's a 3.75% increase. Really, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Now, why don't you tell them what the upper scale is?
Okay. So the next point here is cannabis-infused products with more than 35% THC will be taxed a whopping 20% per purchase. But everybody, it gets even crazier than that. Marijuana with more than 35% THC will be taxed at 25% of your purchase price.
So it goes extremely high, extremely fast. It matches that of cigarettes. The difference in that, though, is I think cigarettes, even though it is a whopping 26%, it's a low-cost whopping 26%.
Right.
They gave you a standardized price in Illinois of $1.98 per purchase, and that's flat.
Yeah.
But say you buy $100 worth of marijuana with more than 35% THC, which there is no information how it's going to be priced yet.
Right.
You're going to be charged $125. $25 goes to federal taxes.
Oof.
In your one purchase.
Uno, singular purchase.
Singular purchase, guys. And they have a good example. This article's 2 days old, but I like the example they have.
Okay.
If buying a $50 flower product and a $50 edible product, it will cost a medical patient $104.75 total. So if you have a medical card purchasing medical marijuana, your tax is going to be 0.0475%.
Oh, really?
Yes. So you get under the sales tax price.
Interesting.
Crazy.
Do you think that's going to play a huge factor in who's going to try and get medical cards?
Absolutely.
I mean,
honestly,
let's be real.
Not to be like a awful human being, because some people need this. Some people, it's a medicine for some.
Right.
And I get that. And, I do want to do some research in THC when I go into my pre-med, my med school portion. Start doing research into THC. I want to see the effects myself firsthand before I go jump in.
First a weed channel, now he's a weed doctor. How about it?
Not a weed doctor, guys. I will not be a weed doctor. I don't think
said
any ER is ever going to allow me to prescribe marijuana.
We'll keep you guys updated.
Hit by a car.
We'll keep you guys updated. Don't worry. I'll push for it. How about that, guys?
Okay. And just like I'm pushing for that Instagram. Colton.
Ooh. Oh. Ugh.
Yeah. That was like 4 episodes ago, dude.
Well, speaking of Instagram, make sure you guys follow us on Twitter at Alton Podcast and on Discord at Alton Podcast.
Yeah, and
Oh yeah.
Give us a subscribe on YouTube.
On YouTube. Yeah.
If you want to do it, be playful with it. Give us a little comment about marijuana.
Yeah.
Tell us what you think about the prices.
Right.
Just give us a hit.
Yeah. Tell us what you think about the taxes, most importantly, because this is obviously the most heavy-hitting part of all of this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And getting back to the taxes and the medical cards, I think if you plan on smoking marijuana and you plan on doing it legally, it may not be a bad idea to see if your primary care doctor would prescribe you a medical card.
Fair.
I'm not saying push for it. Definitely do not lie about any symptoms. That's not the way to go with this. But if your doctor is okay with prescribing this medication, go for it. You know, I mean, it's only going to save you a massive amount of money. There's no need to pay $25 in federal taxes.
Right.
If you can only pay $4.75.
Right.
That's just easy math.
And at the end of the day, this is really all going to come down to how much it costs pre-tax. And, you know, for everybody curious, the legal possession is going to be 30 grams or about 1 ounce of marijuana plant material with no more than 500 milligrams of THC. Or 5 grams of 5 grams of cannabis concentrated products. So it really comes down to how much you're going to buy and how much it's going to cost.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And another thing real quick about that I found interesting about the medical side is that Illinois is going to allow medical patients to have and grow up to 5 plants in their own house.
But only medical patients. And my biggest thing, I'd rather keep you guys, if you're listening, smoking marijuana legally, not buying it off the street. And if that takes you guys getting a medical card, you know, asking your primary care doctor to get that, that's 100% worth it. Because the goal of this is to let you buy it legally, for the federal to make some money off of it, for this money that they make to produce more industries to do better for that area. So it's very important. You know, I know with these prices, when I saw these taxes last video, we were going, what's going to happen with crime, marijuana trafficking? These taxes is going to allow it to continue.
Right.
And that's really unfortunate.
Right. And I do want to touch on that crime part there, because we mentioned in our last podcast that we were questioning the already convicted people of weed possession. So I do want to say, or at least tell everybody who's listening, what the new, laws are going to be when it comes to that. So if you were convicted with a possession of under 30 grams prior to legalization of marijuana, you can be granted pardon, and you most likely will. But if you were in possession of more than 30 grams, you can still apply for pardon, but it's less likely that you will be actually pardoned.
Yeah. So, and this probably will not relate to minors.
Right.
If you're under 21 when you got caught, I imagine they're going to not allow this pardon to go through.
I can see that.
Yeah. So there's going to be some hits and misses. And to get back to what we talked about in the beginning, that same 20% tax on edible product, that was $50, and the 25% tax on the flower product, you know, they're both $50. That instead of paying $104.75, they're going to pay $132.50.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it's really going to come down to how much you buy and how much it's going to cost in the beginning here.
Yeah, and if you can't buy more than 30 grams, I wish they would tell us how much a gram would cost.
Right.
And I also wish, I never thought I'd say this, but I wish I knew what street value was. Because I don't.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't know how much. I mean, do they sell marijuana in bags? Like a dime bag? I don't know. So that would be something interesting if you guys know. Maybe share. I would like to know.
Yeah, throw it in the comments. Don't be shy. We don't bite. We're here to talk with you, not to you.
And we're here to learn with you. We're not experts. You know,
clearly
we get the information from the internet. We look for some solid sources, and we just kind of piece ourselves together. We understand it with him and I, Colton and I, and then we give you this video. And then what we want is people from around the nation, around the world even, to then tell us what they know, what their experiences are. Because you guys know things that we're never going to know.
Right, right, right. And I do want to stress, just because you said, nation or world or whatever, I do want to stress that what we are talking about in this podcast is strictly for Illinois in the United States. This is not federal. I do want to, again, mention that. I know we mentioned it at the beginning, but, we're so many minutes in now, and I do want to mention it again.
Absolutely. And, Friday, we talked about the federal court, going through Senate, trying to pass this bill. It's already went through House. And remember, that was just going to be guidelines. It was going to set up the platform to allow states to make their own choices on recreational or any kind of marijuana use in their state. So with that in mind, I checked again, and it's still not passed through Senate.
Interesting.
Yeah. So Illinois did this all by themselves, and they saw the bill getting passed, and they ran with it.
Yeah. And for the record, Illinois is the 11th state to legalize marijuana.
Recreationally,
yes.
It's a key word there, because 33 states use medical marijuana.
Right.
Well, 33 total, I think 22 medical, 11 is recreational. So that number might be 34 now. Ooh.
Numbers.
Ooh. Numbers.
And I have just one last point here, because I'm sure people want to know, especially people living in Illinois who plan on using this type of stuff. The question is, will I be able to smoke wherever I want? And the rules are already set in place. No, you will not be able to smoke marijuana in public legally. You have to do it privately within you or your, co-space.
Yeah, and you know what? You guys, we've all been there. We have sat in a parking lot. We have gotten out of our car, and we look around because we know we smell marijuana. You guys don't have to be close to somebody smoking that.
Right.
Like, if you're hotboxing in your car, if I'm sitting next to you at a red light, I will smell it with your windows up.
It's true. It's true. It's very true.
So I completely understand why they don't want it just to be in a public place. I do see later on they may allow, like, smoking bars that allow you to smoke marijuana in said bar.
Yeah, like hookah bars.
Like hookah bars,
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, yeah.
That's going to happen.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
100%.
Easily.
But I don't think you're going to be able to smoke it walking down the street in front of the library.
No.
Yeah.
Not in Illinois, at least. So, it all comes down to one question, Austin.
What's that?
How do you think the rest of the states are going to respond to Illinois entering the game with such, I would say, interesting taxes and rules?
Yes. It's a fantastic question. I don't want to say with certainty that, they're going to take advantage of the fact of the high tax rate. But I do feel it'll be foolish of the states not to. I mean, think about it. If you're going to get that kind of revenue to fund whatever you're going to fund, whether it's a good cause or sadly a bad, it would be smart to jump on that bandwagon.
Right.
And I don't agree. I don't think you should be paying that much for recreational use if that's something you want to do. I don't think it should charge you 26%, especially if they're making you smoke within your own confinements. So there's not secondhand smoke potential. There's not any of the side effects that smoking has. And there's far less leniencies. But the smell is not, I guess, quite as skunky.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, I agree. I feel like a lot of states are going to do it just for the economical aspect of it. And I agree with you. They would honestly be stupid not to.
It's sad, isn't it?
Right. If
It's
it
so
came
sad.
to a federal level and then they all had their, option to make it legal in their own state, I feel like it would be a no-brainer. Especially because some of these states are just so much in debt. And, the country as a whole is obviously in debt. So I'm not going to say this is going to cure the country's debt, but
No.
I
It will take a long time.
I guarantee you it'll take at least I'm not going to say a solid chunk at first, but I would say a noticeable chunk at first.
So if these politicians and, governing bodies are hoping that, and okay, this is not quoted anywhere, guys, that I know of, so don't take this verbatim, but if the intention is curing the national debt with marijuana, you guys better buy a shitload of marijuana. Like, you guys better fill up your houses with the stuff to attempt to make a dent in the national debt.
Right. And based on our last podcast, it has to happen. If it goes through Senate, I guarantee you Trump will pass it just for an economical standpoint.
Just for a politician standpoint, it's going to pass it. I mean,
because if it doesn't get to the president's desk until the beginning of next year, election season has already started. So, what better way to start the year than giving everybody exactly what they want?
Exactly. And, again, I'm sure I'm the only channel covering this. I'm going to personally kind of experiment around, see what everybody else is saying too.
Right.
But this is very interesting. It's a very solid move. I am completely okay with it. As far as are you pro weed, against weed? Again, like I said last video, I'm for it.
Right.
I don't think I'm ever gonna partake. I don't think we're gonna smoke any weed, but I am totally okay with anybody I know doing it.
Well,
whether you're a high-end business executive, a doctor, or whatever. Social class doesn't matter.
Yeah. So. I just thought of something.
Okay.
So in the last podcast, my opinion was I'm all for medical, but I'm still on the fence about recreational. So I think I just confirmed my stance on recreational, Austin.
Is it my stance on recreational?
My stance on recreational is also my stance on cigarettes. I might as well treat it the exact same.
Okay. What's your stance on cigarettes?
So my stance on cigarettes is I don't care if you smoke. You probably just shouldn't. So there. That's my official stance on recreational marijuana.
I approve. And again, this is Colton's exact statement right there is exactly why I want to research this stuff. I want to understand better. Right. After a few years of exposure of recreational use, I want to understand those that strictly smoked marijuana over the years. Look at their lungs. I want to look at everything in relation to what had smoke. I want to look at their brain, their neurons. I want to see everything down to the chemicals.
Right.
And see if something changed.
Right. Or if it's just simply better or cleaner.
Exactly. There's not as much chemicals as there is with smoking a cigarette.
Vaping.
Vape. Don't vape.
Ban vaping. Hashtag ban vaping.
Ban it.
Ban
Watch
it.
our video on that.
Yes, watch our podcast. That was like a week or so ago.
Maybe 2.
I don't know. But you can find that all at altonpodcast.com. All major streaming platforms.
Fantastic. Everything, guys. Everything. But again, it's a natural plant from the ground. And that's gotta have its pros. But with the effects on the mind, you have to wonder if repetitious use is going to stop production of certain chemicals in the brain. Right. Just like when you're taking melatonin daily or nightly. If you take it every night, there's a chance your body won't produce it. Of course, this is over a long period of time, guys, not over 3 weeks. It's years. If you take it for years, your body will stop producing it. Same thing happens with the thyroid stimulator or increaser. Same thing happens with insulin.
Yeah. So, from personal experience with having friends who do smoke marijuana, personally, I have not noticed, even in a slight difference, a difference in how they act, mentally.
So, my friends that smoked pot, I could always tell, and it wasn't because they weren't being themselves. Their demeanor would change. Their actions would dull down. Their eyes would be all that stereotypical red.
Right.
But as far as like cognitive ability, fine. I didn't seem to see any kind of motion issues, cognition issues. It all seemed good.
Yeah, and I'm talking more in the sense of long-term changes. I haven't noticed anything. But yeah, when they are high, I can obviously tell if they're high. I mean, they're a completely different person. But in the long run, I haven't noticed anything, like, I guess, for the bad or for, the bad differences. And I've known the one friend for, at least 4 years, probably closer to 6 now. And the other one, I've known him all my life, but to my knowledge, he's been smoking weed since his accident, which was probably about the same time ago, to be honest.
Oh.
Yeah.
I have a couple friends that smoke pretty often. Medical sales here are illegal in Florida. So I have met some patients and such that do smoke medical cannabis. And they all seem, happy-go-lucky. It's all fine.
Yeah.
So I don't really think there's adverse effects. But I think it's going to take a lot of research and studies and, about 20 years of clinical data to really say, yes, this is safe.
Right.
And even then, we might miss something. We're only as good as human error can be at prevent.
Right. Now, something I can confirm is that it's significantly safer than chain smoking a vape.
Yes.
Because, we're seeing all these cases. Again, this is in the previous podcasts. We've talked about vaping. There are cases with just after, months, sometimes even weeks of chain smoking your vape. And these people are needing immediate lung transfers, going straight to the top of these,
donor
lung
lists.
Donor lists. But with the weed and everything, you haven't heard one story about something like that.
And it's been around forever.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
ages.
Let's face it. If we never had any issues in the 70s and 80s with marijuana consumption,
right?
I really just don't. I don't think it's going to be dangerous. I don't want to say it's not, just because, we don't know what we don't know.
Right.
And this is the first time it's going to be recreational. Some people that are maybe have some kind of genetic difference from the average person.
Right.
Maybe. I mean, it's a pipe shoot, flipping a coin kind of thing. It's probably 1,000,000,000 to 1 odds that situation could happen. But
right.
Let's say it does, then we have a whole new ballgame on our hands.
Right. And we're obviously going to see an increase in usage, considering it's now going to be legal.
Absolutely.
So that alone is going to open up a lot more data and possible issues.
Which is fantastic, because the problem with any kind of clinical research is the study size. And if you only have so many people studying it or using it, your sample size is so small. So having a whole bunch of recreational users that just use it for recreation is going to be phenomenal for medical cannabis.
Yes. And
it cannot get better for that.
Right. And I completely agree. Especially coming from my background as a researcher. The more people, the better, obviously.
Absolutely. So my question to you, Colton, getting off of we got a little serious there.
Yes, we did.
We got to tone that shit down.
Oh, yeah. So what's your question?
So, your friends still live in Illinois, don't they?
Both of them. Yes, they do.
I knew it.
Both of them.
Are you going to try it?
Am I going to try it?
Are you going to try it?
Weed?
Yeah.
Brother. No. Come on now. No. If I didn't try it in the past 4 to 6 years, I'm not going to try it the second it becomes legal. I look at it no differently, to be honest.
I agree. It's funny when you mention that, because, I don't know. Drugs are... There's such a fine line. When you talk about any kind of substance, whether it's, alcohol, whether it's marijuana, whether it's smoking, anything. There's always that fine line of socially acceptable and socially not acceptable. But
Agreed.
To be honest, I've never heard of that fine line with weed.
Yeah. I mean...
Never.
I mean, yeah. Maybe it's simply just that much better on a very significant basis.
Is it going to be like the social cigar, man?
I don't know, man.
Like,
Will
is it going to replace the tobacco industry?
No, I didn't think of that. That's an interesting question. I would
could.
love to see, assuming this gets passed federally, I would love to see 5 years from now the charts with marijuana against cigarette sales.
I personally think marijuana is better. We have years and years and years of proof and data that cigarettes are just not good after, really at all.
Right.
But especially when you look at a longevity standpoint of 30, 40 years down the road. And you don't, I don't know that correlation exists for marijuana. We can't prove it yet, again.
Yeah.
But I really do think that marijuana might be the thing that overthrows cigarettes, man.
Honestly, I could see it. Even on top of vaping. Okay. Here is a good way of putting it. Hospitals use marijuana for a reason. And they don't use cigarettes for a reason.
We shouldn't quite go with that, because the hospitals have used things that have caused problems before.
Okay.
Let's look at the opioid crisis, man.
Okay. But from a general standpoint, do you see what I'm saying?
I do.
Okay.
I do want to look back one day when I have some spare time. I kind of want to see if medical marijuana was started by physicians or if it was an idea through government. So the opioid crisis, little background story. So we're going to derail here, which happens a lot in our podcast.
Oof.
Sorry.
Here we go.
Was started because people in the administrative positions, more politically powerful roles, not physicians, said that we weren't treating, or that they weren't treating patients' pain correctly. Give them more pain medication. Give them the opioids. And then they overpushed it, and now we have the problem we have today.
Interesting.
So I want to see if medical marijuana kind of had the same influx, if it was pushed by the higher-ups and not the physicians, because then I'd be concerned.
Right. I mean, I do know it's a huge, election standpoint, but I don't think that would cause enough of an influence, especially if those people didn't get elected.
Yeah, I think the more of the opioid crisis don't tell doctors how to do their job.
Yeah, right.
At least from a government perspective. If you're another physician, fair game.
Right.
If you're a clinician, a researcher, anything in biology, anything in medicine, have at it. Tell them what to do.
True.
If you're a business administrator at a hospital, don't do it. But yeah, I think that's all the points I really wanted to say on this topic. I do hope you guys enjoyed the video.
Oh, yes.
I hope we get some laughs, get some comments, jump into Discord,
Yeah.
The Alton Discord is very lonely, guys.
Yeah. It's very empty.
It's sad. It's always sad.
Very empty, just like my heart.
There's, ouch, wow. Getting deep there. We currently have 8 members. And they're all people I pretty much know personally.
Yeah. So in other words, we have 0 members.
We have 0.
0.
So, but we do have some structure already created.
True.
So, please do jump in, help us create that server, something you guys would love to see.
Yeah.
And again, like us on YouTube, subscribe. Find us on Spotify, guys. Get those Spotify plays up. I'd love to see, 50.
Yes.
What are we at now? Are we at 50? Hold on.
We're getting there. But while
We're getting
Austin's
there.
looking up that number, you can catch us on all major streaming platforms and they are all listed at altonpodcast.com. So go pick your poison. You can also follow us on Twitter at Alton Podcast. That is also listed on altonpodcast.com. So really, what I'm trying to tell you is go to altonpodcast.com.
And he's also subliminally saying, don't vape.
Yeah. Hashtag
Don't
ban
consume
vaping.
poison, guys.
Ban
Don't consume poison.
vaping. Ban vaping. All together.
And so we're at 58 place, so I'd love to see 100.
Ooh.
Let's get close to doubling it, you know?
Ooh.
We're almost at the, what'd you say, 270, 280
What?
YouTube views?
Oh, yeah. We're at 264, I think, is what it was.
264?
Yeah.
So I'd love to see 500.
Yeah, 500?
Actually, give me 1,000.
1,000?
Share this video with your friends.
Yo.
Let's do it.
Yo, give us 1,000 YouTube views. And while you guys are doing that, we'll prepare the next podcast. So, without further ado, hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and we'll catch you guys next time.
Thanks for listening, guys.